So I've managed to cull some images from Saturday, and I thought I would run you through an edit for one of the maternity ones, or maybe two of the maternity ones, depending on how quickly we get them done. So I just selected, there's like 11 here. I think we'll start with this one because it's already there. So I'm just going to run through my presets. I already know that I think I'm probably going to like Tuscan or Sand. These are coming out a little bit brighter just because I've slightly overexposed in camera, but that is okay. That's why we have cameras that we can change things for. I think I'm going to go Tuscan. So we'll apply that. And then we're just going to go white balance. Add a bit more pink back in. And then first thing I try and do is just crop this. And then I'm going to get rid of this. Some people might like it, but I think it's distracting. So I'm just using the AI removal tool. It should do a pretty good job. Yeah, there we go. The next thing I'm going to address is the sky. So I'm just going to come in and go sky mask. And I'm literally just going to bring down the highlights and the exposure. Just bring the sky back a little tiny bit. You can just see the clouds up there now that we couldn't see. I don't want to do anything too crazy to it. So I've done that. That crop is still looking a little odd. That's better. And then using my preset pack, I'm going to come in here with bottom up. I would do this to like 90% of my images. You tend to want the eye drawn up into the image, so it's quite bright down there. If we just bring that up, it just helps people's eye come up. You could go in with like a radial filter, something like this, and then we'll invert it here, and that just inverts to the outer part of the image. Just going to bring that. I don't want it on them too much. And again, you can just invert, bring down the exposure, could up the contrast, bring down the highlights. Just depends on your preference and your editing style, but that's something that you could do. I don't know whether I'm going to keep it there or not. I might just bring that up a little. Next thing I'm going to do is come down to my people pop. So this is a subject mask. So this is AI. And you click on that, and then it will literally select them. There they are. And then up here you can adjust how much you want it to apply. So that's obviously too bright. We want them to pop a little, so we'll go about there. And here you can see at the bottom of this is it basically takes it off the bottom. We don't want to lighten up the bottom part of the image because we've already brought the bottom up. So we'd kind of be counteracting what we've already done. So that's why that's already in there. You don't need to apply that, that's automatic for you. We could look at adding a little bit of extra sun haze. We know the sun haze is behind them. So this sun haze mask here excludes the subject. So you can see where it is there, and you can pick it up and you can move it around. As with all of these things, they're customizable, and the amount that's been added you can change as well. So we could just go really subtle, like that. I think I'm going to add a little bit more contrast to this. more pink, just the tiniest touch. And then I'm just going to come in, and I don't mind these footprints here leading up to it, but there's some quite distracting ones here. So I would probably get rid of those, again using the AI mask. Cool. And then I might just have a look at, so I've got some color profiles on here that you can also apply that just add a little something, like a little, so if I move it away and then I add June in, and then I take it away, you can just see it's ever so subtle, and again with warmth, that's a little bit less vibrant. And then rock is my black and white one, which applies to my black and white presets. I'm going to go for June there, I think. Close that. I'm just going to see if there's any other little bits that need editing, but I don't think so. No other distractions or weird. Oh, a bit of sand on his foot. That's a bit weird. Might get rid of that. Changed, or are you the same? Ah, that one's better. That one follows the line of his toe. And I might just warm this up a tad. Let's go 6,000. Might even go a tiny bit more. Yeah, I wouldn't do much else to that. I'm quite happy with that. So what you're going to do now is you could press Command C or Control V depending on what you're using, and you can also then, the mask you know you're going to use, so for me maybe the bottom up and the people pop, and that's the radial one, and that is the sky. So you just press copy, and you can literally then pick them up and apply them to the next image. So you just press Control V. You can also sync, so you can select the ones you want. So it'd be that one, and let's go that one. And then you can press sync. And again, it'll ask you which ones you want it to sync with. If you press synchronize, you'll then synchronize that across whichever images you've selected. And if they're similar, you can get away with doing it like that. And that's a much quicker way to edit. So you don't have to edit each individual image and apply the same things to it. So let's see what this one does. I mean, that's not bad. Let's have a look here. So we've got our people pop, we've got our radial, so we can just bring that in a little bit. We've got our bottom up. Yep, it's a pretty good place. And then we've got our sky mask. Bring that down tiny bit. I might, just because I can, let's undo that in a minute. So there is a new landscape filter that we can use. I'm just going to see, the sea looks a bit grey, so I might just change that a little bit. It's mainly because I do desaturate quite a lot of blue, but the blue is still picked up in the jeans, so it's a combination of the sky and the clouds and the reflection. So let's have a look. If we do this, and then we can pick up the water, and then we can create, and I'm just going to subtract this bit here because it is water, but I don't want that bit included because it's more surface water. So I'm literally just subtracting from that mask. Okay, let's turn that a little bit cooler. Let's put a bit of the blue back. Let's bring up the vibrancy, and we can also add colour here. I like it. I might bring that crop in now. Oh, apologies if you can hear the very loud, don't know what that was, it just went past my house. Sweet. And then, so we don't have sky or anything in the next image, so let's take off these ones. And let's just literally, oh, hang on, we've moved on to the other one that I applied the thing to. So we can take off the sky mask, which is this one. Yeah, there we go. We don't need it on that one. And we can crop this in. I think I was saying to Kat about how, you know, you can lift your camera up higher and sort of get them under the horizon, and that's that kind of this feel. I really love it. So let's just bring up the exposure a little bit on this one. Oh, not that much, about there. I'm actually going to bring this up and I'm going to darken it just a tad. There. That's so cute. I love it. Oh, oh, she looks so happy. Oh, makes my heart. This is the one I was going to show you. So I've copied and I'm just going to press Command V, and now I'm going to paste these settings onto this image. So immediately I can see I need more pink in this because it was pulling quite green. I'm going to bring the exposure down a little, and then let's crop that in. So I could do quite a few different crops with this one. Let's create a virtual copy. I like that as a whole, but if you didn't have another one that was closer, you could also then crop in really small on like the hands. Oh, come on. Just thinking about it. Something like that, or you could do a portrait crop, so you've kind of got that, which is cute. And then let's do one of these ones. So I'm just going to apply the same settings. So I've just literally Command V for paste. You can do this over like multiple images, like you could do a whole gallery the same way if you just want to apply a preset that way or whatever. Again, I'm just going to add a little bit more pink to that. It was pulling quite green. Let's bring the crop in a little. Don't want to cut her bump off, but he's very tall, so his head's been a little bit. Do we just go fully embrace the close crop? I mean, if she wasn't pregnant, this is how I'd crop it. Probably even closer. Maybe something like this. This is why I want the 70 to 200, the 24 to 70, because I could have done that in like one or two shots. Yeah, so I'd do something like that. But there's a baby bump in there, so let's go make that. Bring up the exposure a little. Let's bring and this one. So I would again just apply So Command V to paste. Bring up the exposure a little. Let's just adjust the bottom up. So if you don't know, these here, like effect, if I turn on the overlay for you, you can see if I do that, it becomes a little bit more dense and you get more of like a very blunt line. Whereas if you pull this up, it sort of feathers it. So you get more of a subtle line through the image. You don't end up with, you know, very light, very dark part. It's just a very subtle blend up. So it's always good to adjust those. The people pop is on. I am actually going to add a little bit of pink because their backs are to the sun here. Add a little bit of warmth to that people pop. And you can do that to all the masks. You can literally just adjust them for each individual image once they're on. And bring that up a little. Again, you could crop this multiple ways. So let's go like that. And let's create virtual copy. And you could also crop really far in. And you can do this as long as you're shooting in a, you know, a high enough resolution. Let's bring this down. Oh, hello. Something like that you could do. Not that all. In fact, one last thing, I'm just going to brighten Mum's face up a tiny bit on this one. Let's just, oh, we want to go up a little bit down. I've got a brush for this, but sometimes I just find it easier to go in. Just do that. And let's just do a tad, tiny bit here on Dad's face. And then what you can do is you can look at your set of images and make sure that they all kind of work. So let's select the ones we've edited, and then if you go to library, and if you go to this one here, then you can see all the images. So immediately I can see this one needs a little bit more warmth and a little tiny bit of contrast, and I'm just going to bring the warmth down ever so slightly on this one, just to make it more cohesive. So let's bring that down, bring that up a little. Let's go for a little bit more contrast. Oh, that was the wrong one. Right, let's try again. And then this one needs, the warmth needs to come down a little bit. I actually think that one would be really lovely in black and white. Let's do it. So that's my granite one, and then slate. I think, ooh, I'm not actually sure. I think slate. Let's go slate. Cute. Okay, so let's go back to look at what we've done. This one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Library. So there's a set of cohesive, lovely maternity photos that hopefully they're going to love. But if you've got any questions, then obviously let me know.